morning, everyone. May I have your attention, please? Before we begin the proceedings of the day, I request all of you to kindly switch off your mobile phones or keep them on silent mode. I, Aditi Rawat, student of second year, School of Business Management.
And I, Riya Gupta, student of third year, Mukesh Patel School of Technology, Management and Engineering.
Welcome each one of you to celebrate this very important day in the history of our university. 17 years ago, on this very day, in the year 2003, our then School of Business Management was declared a deemed to be university. We received the permanent status of deemed to be university in the year 2007, and there has been no turning back since then. It has been a phenomenal and exceptional journey so far, which has seen us grow from a mere business school to a total tally of 17 schools in Mumbai and 6 of campuses. We have grown not only in terms of size, but also in terms of exceptional quality and impressive infrastructure with a diverse and rich culture. We are present here to celebrate our 17th University Day, a testament to our growth and legacy. Please give a huge round of applause for the same. Every institution has unique characteristics that it is identified with, that binds all of its people together. An anthem is a showcase of these beliefs and values, and it is one such characteristics. So now, I request all of you to kindly rise for the NMIMS anthem.
Kindly maintain silence.
We are a part of this institution.
Thank you, everyone. Please take your seats. Culture is a thread that binds all of the people together. Following the tradition that our institution is rooted in, we would like to begin the ceremonies of the day by the lighting of the lamp, followed by the Saraswati Vandana. I would request our Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, former Chairman, ISRO, Honorable Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Dr. Rajan Saxena, Pro Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Dr. Sharad Maheskar, Pro Vice Chancellor, NMIMS University, Dr. Subha Jyoti Ray, Provost and Dean, SBM, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, Registrar NMIMS University, Dr. Meena Chintamanani, to come for the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. I request everyone to please stand up again.
तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रान्विता या वीणां वरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेत पद्मा
Thank you, dignitaries. Please take your seats. I also request all the students to maintain decorum throughout the event. Thank you. We would like to begin our day by felicitating our chief guest, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, former chairman, ISRO, with a token of our appreciation. We request Honorable Vice Chancellor, NMIMS, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to present Sir with a shawl, Shrifal and a memento as a mark of our respect and honor. Thank you, sir. NMIMS commands a tremendous amount of respect in both academic and industrial circles. This is due to the unparalleled dedication and devotion of our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, who has always tried to put NMIMS on the top pedestal of the world. It has been due to his vision and dedication that the mission of making NMIMS a deemed to be university has come true. He has been associated with NMIMS for a long time in the role of an advisor prior to becoming the Vice Chancellor. He has over 40 years of professional experience in management education, research, consulting, and institution building. He is widely respected as a marketing educator and an institution builder. I would now like to invite Dr. Rajan Saxena, Honorable Vice Chancellor NMIMS, to welcome the day formally by addressing the gathering.
Our chief guest this morning, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, who was also the former chairman of Indian Space Research Organization and secretary to the Department of Space, Government of India, and also the chairman of Space Commission and chairman of the Board of Governors of IIT Padma. Sir, a hearty welcome to you to NMIMS 17th University Day. Let me take this opportunity of greeting the entire university community itself present over here. Most of you are present over here. Many of you are going to be seeing this celebration across different campuses through the web or through the internet and the web telecast that we are doing at this point of time. It's an honor and privilege to have Dr. Madhavan with us today on the 17th University Day. It was January 13, 2003 that NMIMS was declared as a deemed to be university under Section 3 of the UGC Act. NMIMS, as many of us know, started as a management school in 1981. And therefore, the essential part of our declaration as a university was the recognition of NMIMS as an institution that had contributed to the growth of management profession, management education in this country, and also as one of the outstanding institutions, which NMIMS was there at that point of time from 1981 to 2003. That's a kind of a perspective that the Government of India kept when we were declared as a deemed to be university back in 2003. The last decade has seen a transformation of NMIMS from a management school only to a multidisciplinary and multi-campus institution itself. It's a decade that I have always said, it's a decade of growth. It's a decade when we started sowing the seeds of excellence. It's a decade when we look behind, it's one where quality was never ever compromised. Quality was kept at the premium level, was given that kind of a prominence that typically any education institution must do if it has to really be sustainable over a period of time. It isn't just merely the quality and the excellence that we were talking about or the growth that we were talking about, but a more important part was that the students who come to us and the society that reposes confidence in us, we must be able to contribute to the development of the society. We must be able to make our students employable so that they are able to create or they are able to contribute to the intergenerational transformation that is so much required when we talk about the 21st century and we talk about the decade that has just finished itself. Today is a day when, actually speaking, the third decade of the 21st century has just begun. And therefore, it is interesting for us to look behind what is it that we did in the last decade, that is the second decade of the 21st century, and therefore what is it that lies ahead of us. As was very rightly said right in the beginning, we grew in terms of the number of schools from 6 to 17, in terms of the campuses, from 3 to 6 campuses. We look at the number of students, and when we look at the students, we grew from 6,031 on-campus program students registered in our on-campus programs to almost about 17,500 students on campus. That's typically, by any standard, is a substantive kind of a growth, and not just merely simply an expansion and a growth, but also, as I said, it is also in terms of continuously focusing on the quality. You look at the faculty numbers, and when you look at the faculty numbers, we grew from 237 in 2009 to somewhere close to about 750, and as I speak, the numbers continue to expand, grow. So it's when we start looking at these kinds of numbers, we realize that in terms of the numbers, we are today a fairly large university itself. We are a multidisciplinary university. We are a multi-campus institution. At the same point of time, I would also say that we are today a nationally and globally accredited institution. We have a global accreditations in our management education, AACSB and EMBA, for example, within NMIMS. At the national accreditation level, we have NAC. At the A+ level, NBA accreditation for many of our courses in engineering and pharmaceutical sciences. And not only so, I think by the time we will finish the first year of this decade, I'm pretty confident that our engineering school will also get internationally accredited. So by the time that we are talking about it at the end of 2020, NMIMS would be, not only its management and engineering would be globally accredited, but also as an institution we would have gained substantively in terms of our accreditation and in global quality itself. We are today a Category 1 university. It's a well-known fact. Now, there are only 35 universities in India that have been given a Category 1 institution status. Out of 993 universities, only 35 are given the Category 1 status based on their NAC accreditation, of which 11 are private sector universities. So we are one of those private sector 11 universities that is a Category 1 status. So when we start looking at our rankings, NMIMS continued to remain in the top 10 position. It continued to consolidate its position in the top 10 in India. In the NIRF 19 rank, it improved it substantively to 20th. Above us are all the government-sponsored institutions. Bangalore, our campus that was started in 2008 with a leader there, with Professor Moni, today stands as number 1 in Bangalore and number 5 in South India. Our BBA program is ranked number 1 in India, and for the second consecutive year, it has continued to be ranked the best ever kind of a program when it comes to BBA. That is the kind of a part that we say. SOE, the School of Economics, ranked by India today as number 34 in India. And not only so, the 3rd best emerging college in India in the humanities and social sciences. Mukesh Patel School of Technology, Management and Engineering was ranked number 2 emerging institute in India among the engineering institutions. And Pharmaceutical Sciences School was ranked number 9 in 2018 by NIRF, and last year we got it 13th, and we hope to be coming back to the top 10. Our Bangalore and Hyderabad campuses continued to be ranked among the top 5 emerging B schools in India. So what has been the impact of what we have been able to do? So let's move to the next. Impact. The impact of all this is that our credibility has improved as an institution, our reputation has gained, we today are a far more reputed institution, our reach has expanded, the consequence of which is that we are today one of the most, I would say, respected brands in India. And not only we are one of the most respected brands, but also in terms of the recognitions, we are there. Look at it in terms of the context of the global partnerships. Our global partnerships with leading universities like Purdue, Virginia Tech, University of California, Riverside, USA, University at Albany, State University of New York, they have also made us today a global brand. And increasingly, we are going to be getting more number of students from there, from the US, or from that matter, let us say from Australia or Europe. We are going to be seeing more number of foreign students and foreign faculty on our campuses. That is where I would say is going to be the beginning of our globalization. Our students have made a mark not just in corporate, but also in other walks of life, as engineers, designers, solicitors, artists, scientists, analysts, etc. And they won awards at national and international level. For example, we were just telling Professor Madhavan that how our engineering school students have been winning consecutively in the contests at NASA itself. And over a period of time, we today have successively, in various kinds of contests, we have been winning it across. We today are at the forefront of promoting entrepreneurship and innovation. And today, with our NMIMS Incubation Center, which started only 2 years ago, with support from Niti Aayog, we have been able to incubate 50 startups in 3 different cohorts. When I look at NMIMS, I look at it as a culture, as an organization that is the culture of dialogue, discussion, and consensus building. The attempt is not to curb the dissent, but to provide an adequate space for alternate viewpoints. Only the day before yesterday, the Chancellor, while addressing the directors of the various campuses, did mention about this, that the more important part of the institution is to not necessarily agree with what we are saying, but to come out with an alternate viewpoint backed up by facts and with an argument that you can really support it. So that is something that is important. I believe that no institution can grow if such a kind of a culture is not built. The essence of institution, and when we talk about autonomy, is to encourage such a debate on the campuses, dialogue and conversation. Fortunately, as I said, NMIMS has had a leadership that has always supported such a kind of a dialogue. Institution building is not just the work of one man or one day or 1 year. It is a continuing process, especially if one has to create a saga of innovation, excellence, and sustainable growth. It's an outcome of a dream. Imagination is critical in institution building. Unfortunately, today institutions suffer, not because that they don't have the leaders, but they don't have the imagination. And fortunately, we have had SVKM, our president, our chancellor, and all of us in my leadership team who have such an imagination of where to take the institutions and the schools. And that, I think, will make NMIMS continue to grow over a period of time. Today is a day when we also need to celebrate our leadership itself. We need to celebrate our faculty contribution. We need to celebrate the contribution of our students, the contribution of our alumni, and above all, the contribution of a lot of people who operate behind the scenes, who are not the faces in front of you, but they are the faces right behind, and they are the team of my administrative staff. My administrative staff, my examination team, my finance team, everybody who are working there are working tirelessly to just ensure that NMIMS continues to remain one of the top institutions itself. But equally, I'm aware of the fact that if we have to grow, we have to invest in our people and people development. And it is from this kind of a perspective, with effect from today, and today we are formally inaugurating a Human Resource Development Center at Bangalore. The HRD Center would be led by Professor Jayashankaran, who is our advisor there, and not only our advisor, but somebody who has really been contributing to the growth of this institution right from 2008 or 2007 onwards. So we are indeed privileged to have him with us, and he's the former Vice Chancellor of the Kanchi University, and also the Director General of the BIM, or let's say Bhattidasan Institute of Management at Trichy, one person who's widely recognized in the country as passionate for quality and one who contributes to the development of the institutions itself. So we're going to be starting, and we're going to be asking Dr. Jayashankaran soon after to be speaking on what exactly is the HRD Center is going to be doing. We're going to start with the deans and the faculty and this to begin with, and thereafter we would be also taking forward toward our non-faculty staff itself. So where do we go from here? That's something that we need to look at it. When we turn this decade, when we turn the leaf into 2029 and begin 2030, where would you like to see NMIMS? And we in the board and in the university management team feel that our vision has to be a globally admired university from India. And our effort is going to be consistently in this direction. Last year, I referred to this, and I said it's a function of 6 steps. We have to continuously keep climbing up these steps. It's not one at a time, but all these steps have got to be achieved almost simultaneously. Whether we have got to innovate in terms of our program delivery, or in our assessments, or student development, or admissions, accounts, or for that matter, let us say HR, finance, administration, everywhere we've got to be focusing on innovations. Keep this in mind, one of the biggest trends of the 21st century and of this decade is going to be the growth of the technology in a much bigger manner. And one of the important aspects is the decline of the fourth estate, that is the TV, the print, and all that, to a growth of the social media, online. Now, if that is going to be there, it is going to be affecting our education programs in a much bigger manner than what we have seen so far. So we have got to be investing in that kind of a direction. We've got to invest in people development, and that's the reason why we are talking about the human resource development. Not only so, we've got to strengthen our connect with the society. Increasingly, the world is saying, and increasingly the people are saying, that we need to redistribute capital. It is not about the creation of wealth only, but it is about redistribution of wealth. And that is where this today, when we are going to be launching one of our publications, will be from the Jitsani Center of Social Enterprise and Development itself. So we're going to be contributing. We'll look at what is it that we need to be doing. And I believe very strongly that we need to connect with the society. We need to continuously strengthen our accreditations and ranking, whether at the global level or a national level, and we have got to get into the global ratings and rankings. And all this will hopefully help us to emerge as a globally admired institution. An agenda that I wish to put it across to all of you, my dean colleagues, my faculty colleagues, my staff, and everybody. Think of it from this point of view. 10-point agenda: innovation, rigor, and relevance cannot be compromised. Rigor and relevance in our programs. We need to keep a focus on learner, understand the learner's expectations, understand what their career kind of dreams are. I'm not talking about placement, but it is the career dreams that are important. And we've got to accept the fact that there are multiple sources of learning, and therefore encourage greater degree of integration and bring in, as I said, internet-enabled learning itself. And we're going to be investing in people, both faculty and staff. Quality cannot be compromised. We need to look at our alumni relations. We need to be focusing more towards a multidisciplinary research and a more focused research, which is going to impact the society. I have been extremely worried, and whenever the students have come to me and they have talked to me about the fact that lecturing in many of our schools continue to be a predominant pedagogy. This, to my mind, is the most dysfunctional way of learning in today's era. At a time when the youth is spending more time and energy on gaming, and not even on Facebook, but on gaming, let's understand how can we really use some of those kinds of social networks and at the same time the gaming technology in our classrooms itself. How do we use it? So dump lecturing as a predominant pedagogy and establish dialogue with the civil society. I believe today that LMIMS is a constellation of learning centers who are interdependent, yet autonomous. But more important thing is that there is a synergy among all of them. We need to work towards creating such a synergy. So ladies and gentlemen, what I really wanted to put it across to you all as we come into the third decade of the 21st century is an agenda that we need to really pursue as a university. And I'm pretty confident that the kind of support and cooperation that you have all extended so far, you will continue to do so, even as the new leadership comes in, or even as there is a transition that takes place at different levels itself. More new schools may come up, or more new programs may get launched, but the fact of the matter is that you, as a community, will continue to grow and be sustainable only if we all commit to the agenda that I've just made it over here. At the end, I'd like to extend my warm thanks, my heartfelt gratitude to the Chancellor of NMIMS, Shri Amrish Patel, who is also the President of SVKM, who has reposed confidence in me. Today is also my 11th year. I've completed 11 years as Vice Chancellor. And I cannot imagine this would have been possible if I did not have the support and confidence of our Chancellor and SVKM trustees, some of whom are present over here. And not only so, but the support of all of you, my faculty colleagues, my deans, my former deans, colleagues who were a part of our journey, my faculty colleagues who were there in the earlier part, but not today with us, the staff who's been so brilliantly and so hardworkingly doing the job silently, without even coming back to me for different kinds of things. But silently they have been working. And all of you as students who continue to repose confidence in NMIMS. Thank you very much and enjoy the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words, which we are sure will serve as a guiding light for many bright minds present in the audience today. Books and journals have always served as a brilliant source of knowledge and wisdom for gathering details inside the field of education. NMIMS has always been a front-runner in the field of promoting all mediums of gathering education. In the same spirit, I would request our Honorable Chief Guest, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, former Chairman ISRO, to unveil our journals on this very important day.
NMIMS Management Review. NMIMS Management Review, the official research journal of SBM NMIMS, is a leading journal in the management thought process. It encourages scholars and practice leaders to present their thoughts in all areas related to business, commerce, healthcare, and management. Its objective is to foster new thoughts in the contemporary management and business concepts, practice, and theories.
Journal of Economics and Public Policy. It is a multidisciplinary journal published by NMIMS Mumbai. It publishes rich content, research articles on various aspects of economics and public policy in an international context and covers areas related to micro, macro, developmental economics, labor, healthcare, experimental, behavior economics, to name just a few.
We Care Civic Engagement Anthology Series. The School of Business Management initiated We Care Civic Engagement Internship in 2010 to socially sensitize its full-time MBA students. The internship facilitates students to examine social issues prevalent in the society, sensitize them, and trigger them to propose innovative solutions to address these issues. Many students found the gravity of the grassroots reality daunting and having life-altering lessons. They have realized that compassion and dignity are as critical as justice and liberty in promoting inclusive growth. The current anthology, Vanchit, Strategies to Bridge Gaps of Agrarian Economy, is based on the internship projects undertaken by the students in the area of rural and tribal development. The rustic life led by poor farmers and tribals has stimulated our students to understand that exclusion can rob individuals of dignity, security, and the opportunity to lead a better life. As B school students, they realized that social exclusion could cause certain groups to opt out of markets, services, and spaces, with costs to both individuals and the economy. The Jasani Center for Social Entrepreneurship and Sustainability Management is delighted to release Volume 7 of the We Care anthology today. We hope the volume will be used to readers who are interested in promoting sustainable and inclusive growth.
NMIMS Engineering and Technology Review. It is a leading journal published by NMIMS Mumbai. It publishes extensive research on blockchain technology, medical imaging, data science, and many more upcoming technologies. Thank you, sir, for joining us in the moment of glory and unveiling the journal to the audience. I now request Dr. Jay Shankaran, Professor Emeritus, Advisor NMIMS Bangalore Campus, to please come on stage to speak and brief us all about the HRD Center of NMIMS.
Most renowned scientists of our country, Professor G. Madhavan Nair, the distinguished Vice Chancellor of our great university, Professor Rajan Saxena, my esteemed friends, the Pro-Vice Chancellors of this university, Professor Sharad Maheshkar and Subrata Ray, and also the Proctor of this university, Professor Ramesh Bhatt, and distinguished faculty members, non-teaching staff, members of the trustee, faculty colleagues, my dearest students, ladies and friends. My heart is filled with immeasurable joy, indescribable happiness and supreme ananda to be part of this university day, which is the 17th university day. Basically, I am a mathematician. I am a PhD from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research. I am trying to see these days as very, very unique. Unique in the sense that if you look at the day on which this university was created, it was 13th January 2003. 13, 1, 3, 2, they are all prime numbers. So this university was created on a prime day. It was a Monday. Today is also Monday. It is 17th graduation day. 17 is also a prime number. If you add 1 and 7, it is 8. It is the 8th prime number when you start counting the prime numbers from 1 to 17. So all this is not mere coincidence. This is bound to happen because this is a prime university. Now, Professor Rajan Saxena waxed eloquence on the achievements of this great university. I had a small part to play. My association was not from 2008, it is actually from 1995. When I came as the chairman of NAC accreditation, at the time it was a B school. Narsimhanji B school was the first B school to come for accreditation at that point in time. And I had great pleasure in awarding the 5-star status for Narsimhanji B school at that point in time. Right then onwards, they have never slipped on quality. They were always moving up the ladder on the quality. They got A plus, and now category 1 status. Now the question is, what is the next step? Next step is, this university has to become world class. World class is not just easy to attain. There are several criteria to become world class. And there are many documents written by World Bank as to how to become a world-class university. Amongst all those parameters, I was able to group them under 3 categories. If you want to really become world-class, first criterion is high concentration of talent. By that I mean the kind of faculty whom you are able to attract, the kind of non-teaching staff, the kind of students you are able to attract to the campus, they must be really world-class. When I say you will have to attract a world-class faculty, in any university system there are 3 important dimensions. One is expansion of the existing knowledge, that means you must be doing research. As a university, you must focus on research. Transmission of the existing knowledge, that means you must do a proper effective teaching. And third one, you must have good academic administrators. Again, we make the mistake of saying a good teacher and a good researcher will become a good academic administrator. It's not true. Academic administration is the most difficult part in managing a higher education institution. I must on this occasion compliment our Honorable Vice Chancellor for playing this onerous responsibility of playing the Vice Chancellor's role for 11 long years. Sir, I was a Vice Chancellor for 3 years. I was a normal, healthy person when I became the Vice Chancellor. At the end of 3 years, I became a diabetic, I became hypertensive, I became allergic, I became asthmatic. All that happened within a period of 3 years. Now you are extremely healthy after 11 years of Vice Chancellorship. Touch wood, God bless. I can say without any fear of contradiction, in the entire country, I cannot find one single individual who has spent 11 years as a Vice Chancellor. I think that's a great work that you have done. And the kind of accelerated growth this university has faced during the last 10 years, commendable. Now this accelerated growth, you will have to manage it confidently and also professionally. That's why we thought of creating this Human Resource Development Center. We want to create high quality teachers. Many a times, we look at only content competence when you are recruiting a faculty, whether you are a PhD, publications, conference, participation, all that. But to my mind, teaching is a performing art. Not every scientist can be a good teacher. Teaching is a totally different kind of a ball game. As I said, it's a performing art. The way you act, the way you sing, the way you dance, you will have to do the teaching. If you want to become a teacher in a school, you need to have a B.Ed and an M.Ed. If you want to become a teacher in a college or university, straight after PhD, you go to the classroom. Without understanding the classroom dynamics, without understanding the psychology of students, without understanding how to prepare for these classes, how to make the classes interesting, how to set a question paper, how to evaluate them, how to get along with the other faculty, all this we are not trained. And that's why when I became a Vice Chancellor in Kanchi University, first thing that I did was to create a Department of Education Technology. I designed a 1-year MPhil course on pedagogical competence. I mandated all the 850 teachers in the university will have to undergo the training. I personally monitored that particular program all Saturdays and one Sunday. I used to give this to all my teachers. The quality of teaching improved. Therefore, the quality of students who are coming into the campus also improved. Therefore, you are able to go up on the ladder of quality and also become visible in the higher education institutions. Therefore, first thing is, how do you make your teachers effective teachers, faculty effective teachers, right? That is very, very important. We are planning to design programs so that they become effective teachers. Also try to identify the faculty who have strong potential to become good researchers. It's not true that all good teachers are good researchers. These are all two different skills. It may happen a good teacher also a good researcher, but very rarely that happens. There are some people who are extremely good at research. We need to identify, give them that free space so that they will be able to do fantastic research. Third important dimension is academic administration. Academic administration is the most difficult thing to do. You can manage 1,000 workers in a factory, you cannot manage 10 faculty in a department. Because they are all intellectual workers, they keep on changing their stand. Extremely difficult to manage intellectual workers in an academic system. Therefore, how do you identify the right kind of people who have a potential for becoming a great administrator. I sit on the Vice Chancellor Selection Committee. I interview the people also who are directors, dean, sometimes sitting Vice Chancellors I interview. I somehow feel that they are not properly trained. They have reached that position because they are good teachers or good researchers. That academic administration is a great skill, and only people like Rajan Saxena, all these three are rolled into one in him. Very rarely you find such people. So we thought we will have to develop the leadership pipeline in the university so that we will be able to train the deans, directors, heads of the department to become good academic administrators. So in our scheme of things, we are planning to offer programs so that our teachers become masterful teachers, outstanding researchers, also effective academic administrators. These are all the things that we are looking at. This is the first dimension if you want to become world class. Second dimension is you must have abundant resources. Most of the universities today are run only based on the income that they get from the tuition fee. That's not enough. You will have to get funding from the corporate, you will have to get donations from the alumni. Anyway, that is the second dimension to become world class. Third important dimension is favorable governance. How do you create the right kind of ambience in an academic institution so that everyone will be able to bring out the best in them? So, that favorable governance is a very, very important dimension. Most of the academic institutions are not focusing on that. I would like to just narrate a couple of findings of Sumantra Ghoshal. I mean, he is one of the outstanding management thinkers along with C.K. Prahlad and Deepak Jain. And he says in one of the articles, he calls it as the smell of the place. He is basically from Calcutta. He was in INSEAD, he was in London School of Economics. During vacation, he will come to Calcutta. Calcutta during summer is 102, 103 degrees, humidity is 99%, and you sweat a lot. Downtown Calcutta climate is very hot. Even if you feel like doing something, you will not be able to do. But when he is in France, near his INSEAD, mountain blue forests are there. Even if you want to relax in the mountain blue forest, you cannot relax. The moment you enter, there is a crispiness in the air, there is fragrance of the flowers, you feel like jogging, you feel like jumping. And Sumitra Ghoshal says, in many organizations, both in the corporate and academic institution, they somehow create the Calcutta downtown climate inside the organization. And then complain, you are not doing this, you are not doing that. You have created that kind of climate within the organization that people are not able to perform. People are not willing to bring out the best in them. This, to my mind, is one of the major problems that is afflicting the higher education in this country. Therefore, how do you create the right kind of climate where everyone feels to bring out the best? And then he goes on to say why this kind of a thing happens. Most of the universities, they operate under constraints, compliance, control, and contract. These 4 C's are actually creating the downtown stuffy atmosphere in the academic institution as well in the corporate world. Now, how do you convert these 4 C's into different kind of a situation? Instead of constraint, you come with the concept of a stretch. Everyone is supposed to go beyond the call of the duty. You are taking the responsibility to add something to the growth of the institution. And instead of talking about compliance, it's kind of discipline. You have your own discipline so that you comply with the norms. It is not control, it is more of support. Everyone tries to control the superior wants to control the subordinate. Instead of that, you create that supporting culture. It's not contract, it is based on trust. You trust your faculty, you trust your non-teaching staff, you trust your students, so that you will be able to create that free space where everyone will be able to bring out the best in them and then make the real place world class. This is on the governance side. So in the Human Resource Development Center, we are planning to focus on training teachers to become masterful teachers, training ordinary researchers to perform extraordinary cutting edge research, also trying to convert academic administrators to become administrators with favorable governance kind of a structure, so that this university, as our Honorable Vice Chancellor has already dreamt, in 2030 we should become really world class. Not just number 1 in this country, number 1 in the Asia Pacific region, number 1 in the Ivy League universities. that is immensely possible with the support of all these NMIMS family who always work with passion, who always work with dedication and commitment. So we are extremely thankful to the top management for allowing us to create this Human Resource Development Center, because in most of the universities we used to have a system known as academic staff college. The kind of the work that they do was not up to the mark. Therefore, UGC closed down all these academic staff college. They wanted to create human resource development centers in central universities. I think in the private university, NM is the first university in the entire country to think of this human resource development center, and we will become a pioneer, sir, in the future years to come, because when once you focus on the development of the talent, automatically the reputation of the entire university will go up several notches up. I would like to thank the Vice Chancellor, Chancellor and the management trustees for giving us this opportunity to create this center. We look forward to greater support and cooperation from all of you, so that together we will try to make NMIMS as a world-class university. Thanks for the opportunity. Being a mathematician and an ardent admirer of Ramanujan, I created a Ramanujan magic square for this day, 13/01/2020. I think I have displayed that magic square. The beauty of this is not an ordinary magic square. It takes a lot of time to create. You add all the numbers across the row, across the column, across the diagonals. They will all add up to the same number 54. But even if you take the 4 numbers in each block corner, they will add up to the same 54. There are so many interesting properties on this Ramanujan magic square. Probably we will circulate this to all of you on the WhatsApp group. You will be able to enjoy this. This is not easy to make. This is not an ordinary square. It is Ramanujan magic square, which I have created for this special day, which, as I said, is very unique. The day on which we started the university is the same day on which we are celebrating. All of them are prime numbers. 17 is a prime, 8 the prime, 7 plus 7 is 8. These are all the special features of today's function. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir. Our university brings together students from different campuses across the country with the NMIMS University Student Council. The NMIMS University Student Council aims to foster unity and team spirit among the student community of NMIMS University. The NUSC proudly presents its efforts in the form of a video.
To announce that since 2016, a student council body at the university level has been established. And this year too, a new eclectic NUSC has been formed. The primary objective of the NMIMS University Student Council is to assimilate and integrate students from schools and campuses across NMIMS University. The NUSC aims to foster unity and team spirit within the student community of NMIMS University. The strength of the team
is each individual member.
The strength of each member
is the team.
My greetings to each one of you on the 17th University Day on 13th January 2019. It's a day when we celebrate the foundation of NMIMS, or rather the emergence of NMIMS as a university. The Student Council that was set up a couple of years ago was for the purposes of bringing the students from all the campuses and schools together. It is a structure for the purposes of integrating the entire student community of NMIMS. I'm pretty confident that some of the activities that the Student Council has undertaken and is going to be taking along with, let's say, organizations like Rotary Club, will make a very big difference, not only to the institution, but even to each one of you. You will develop as leaders, you will develop as great orators, you will develop as great communicators, and above all, you will learn how to manage the teams, how to work in teams, and how to live in teams. Student Council, under the leadership of Professor Christine de Lima and its elected office bearers, have been doing a great job. I'm pretty confident that in the times to come, the Student Council will still do better and rise to the new challenges that are there for each one of us or lie ahead of us. All the very best.
Hi friends, at NYMS the last year has been phenomenal. Enhanced research output, strong international linkages, new programs in emerging areas, higher and better NIRF rankings, and so many firsts. This has resulted in enhanced reputation and better perception among all stakeholders. All this has been achieved because of the visionary leadership, dedication of faculty and staff. Of course, students who are the focus of all activities at NMIMS have brought glory to NMIMS. Our quest for excellence continues.
A very good morning and welcome to the 17th University Day function. Congratulations to the Student Council, where we conceived the concept of having a university council being constituted where students across all campuses come together, share their experiences, network together and work for different occasions and for different functions together. I'm so happy to share that when Maharashtra needed and when Maharashtra was in crisis due to very heavy rains, almost around 500 students is what they supported in terms of stationery, and this was not only done by the Mumbai students, it was from all across, from students of Bangalore, Hyderabad, Navi Mumbai, Indore.
Being elected as the president of the NUSC never really took away from the fact that it's all about the team that I work with and around. You only ever really develop when the people around you develop alongside you. And that is what the NUSC is all about. Experiences, rather all my experiences here with the NUSC team have become a part of my life that is greater than the sum of its individual parts.
Hi, my name is Vibhushan, and working with NUSC has been a great learning opportunity that I have achieved here at NMIMS, and it was an immense pleasure to work with a team with members that have diverse background from various colleges, and working for University Day and a lot of other events for the University Council has been a great learning opportunity where I learned how to work in a team, how to understand the team members, and most of all the importance of humility.
So the NMIMS University Students Council has been a very enriching experience of my life. Right from the time I was selected as the treasurer till today, what I've learned from here is proper employment of resources and amazing cross-functional coordination. And under the guidance of Dr. Christine, we've become a close-knit family.
Hello everyone, it's Ashrita Narayan from the NMIMS University Student Council. Everything from the selection process till the University Day preparations have been great, and it has been my privilege to be working as the secretary. Thank you.
It is a well-known fact that the administration and the support staff are the true backbone of any organization. It is because of their dedication and devotion towards their duty that all of us can access the desired services in an efficient manner. To recognize the priceless contribution of the staff, we would now request our Honorable Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sharad Maheshkar, to declare the awards. I also request the Chief Guest, Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, and Honorable VC NMIMS, Dr. Rajan Saxena, to kindly present the awards.
Good afternoon to you all. On every University Day, NMIMS announces awards for staff in recognition of their work as well as their unflinching loyalty. I have the present task of announcing awards for NMIMS staff. The awards comprises of a certificate, memento, and a token monetary recognition. I'll first announce the awards for the Mumbai campus. Ms. Jahnavi Shivgan, Examination Department. Is there? Rahul Deshpande from the Administration Department. First. Asmita Kudkar from the Accounts Department. Ms. Radhai Chavan from the Admission Department. Thank you. Congrats. Ms. Kavita Poriude from the HR Department. Shri Praveen Parmar from the VC's office. Rupali ka naam, sorry. Rupali, I'll do that, sorry. Ms. Rupali Raut, Registrar's office. Congrats, Rupali.
Congratulations.
भूल गया मैं इसमें क्या है, don't know why. Manohar Chavan from the library. I'll now be announcing awards from the Shirpur campus. Ganesh Gurav, accounts clerk from Shirpur campus. Followed by Nandakishore Patil, supervisor from Shirpur campus. And Deepak Patil, assistant warden from Shirpur campus. Following staff members have completed 25 years of exemplary service at NMIMS. I request them to come forward and receive memento in appreciation. Ganesh More, Arun Kumar Singh, and Umesh Kadam. Thank you. Please give a big hand to the awardees.
Thank you, sir, for felicitating the staff for their contribution to NMIMS. We are extremely honored to have Padma Vibhushan, Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, present amongst us today. Dr. Nair, with his numerous achievements, continues to inspire scores of youth. Dr. Nair led India's pride, ISRO, for 6 admirable years with poise, as ISRO recorded 25 successful missions during his tenure as chairman. Dr. Nair has taken initiatives towards development of futuristic technologies to enhance the space system capabilities as well as to reduce the cost of access to space.
He has given major thrust for evolving application programs such as teleeducation and telemedicine for meeting the needs of society at large. As on today, more than 31,000 classrooms have been connected under the EduSat network, and telemedicine is extended to 315 hospitals, 269 being remote rural district hospitals, including 10 mobile units and 46 super specialty hospitals. Dr. Nair has had a glittering career and has achieved 16 honors and 11 fellowships, a staggering number which would take most of the people multiple lives to achieve. Without further ado, we request Dr. Nair to share his valuable insights and experience and deliver the university address.
Respected Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rajan Saxena, Shri Subha Jyoti Ray, Srimati Mini, Shri Ramesh Bhaskar, other distinguished members of the faculty, Dr. Jayasekaran, members of the faculty members, and my dear students, a very good afternoon to all of you. It's indeed my proud privilege to be invited for this 17th annual day of this prestigious institute, NMIMS. And in fact, I must be thankful to Dr. Jayashankar for his catalytic role, what he has played in bringing me here. Well, I was wondering what I should be doing. But anyway, first of all, let me see that this campus is something which is very unique. I have had an opportunity to visit many places of education, IITs, ISCs, and so on. And perhaps this campus, from the very look itself, it stands out. While coming in the lift, I have asked the registrar, it looks like a 5-star hotel. And she said, no, it's a 5-star education institution. Yes, certainly I support that. You know, what you see around, that's a reflection of the quality. Later, a little bit of chat with your Vice Chancellor and other members, etc., it has clearly brought out that you are doing extremely well. You have come up to a standard which is the 11th position in the country as far as these universities are concerned. That is something which is remarkable within a short time, and that too working within the constraints of a private university. Certainly, your Vice Chancellor's goal, the roadmap, what he has given you, is very ambitious and challenging. And to become a global leader in this field is going to be something which we can all look forward to. With the effort of all the faculty members, students, and other administrative staff put together, certainly we can achieve this. I support the view of Dr. Jayashankar saying that, it's a research which is going to distinguish you from the other ordinary setups. If you invest in the research, definitely the benefits will come to you in shortest possible time. It's an uphill task, but we have to work hard. Once the target is very clear, with the dedication and commitment of all of you, you will achieve a global status within the next 5 years, I will say, not 10 years even. So God bless you in achieving this great ambitious goal. Well, I was asked to speak on some topic which, that technology, society, and related matters. I was a little bit uncomfortable. I can talk on space and related technologies for hours together without any notes or slides around me. But this topic is something very general, and I was wondering what I should be talking. Perhaps that worry was in my mind. Yesterday we had the dinner and settled down in the room around 11 o'clock. At 1 in the morning, I woke up with a very vivid dream, which gave me a little bit of focus, I will say. Just let me describe that short event. Our college union, our batch was meeting somewhere, that 1966 batch was meeting in some resort, and we were all having a chit-chat sitting around the lawn. Suddenly, one beetle lands on my shoulder, and natural instinct is just pull out and then throw it out. I threw it. Then again, that started coming towards me. And then, we thought something fishy. It's repeatedly making the same route and targeting me. Then somebody said, no, you have to be careful. It's not a beetle, it's something else. He caught hold of that and found that it is a miniature flying machine. And then, of course, it had to incapacitate that. So what he did is he just tore off one wing of that, and that became dead. Again, friends were not satisfied. It may have some cameras and microphones all inside that, and it may be transmitting all what transpires here and so on. Well, in fact, that was something which is really struck me. The growth of technology, where we are, and how far it can go. Imagine that beetle embedded with a needle, and it can inject poison into an enemy. What happens? So that's the kind of thing which is evolving in the years to come. Perhaps a slightly larger version of that is what you have seen in Iraq. There is a drone which is fully equipped, and some of you would have seen that video. It is able to detect the person, identify the facial recognition, and then target the weapons on that particular vehicle. And some people started running out from the escort vehicles, etc. And every one of them has been spotted, and his drones, machine guns shot them down. You can imagine what level of technology has gone to it. There is a sophisticated imaging, especially infrared imaging techniques involved, the 3D modeling, and then facial recognition, and all those built into it. And then it's able to do these functions autonomously. It is almost like emulating a human behavior. Suppose there's a pilot equipped with this kind of aircraft, he will be doing the same thing. So that is translated into a machine. That is the growth of technology, what we have achieved today. Well, now let me just briefly look back from my own experience. 50 years back, I was in a village where my grandfather used to live, and I did my primary education there. You won't believe me if I say that the biggest gadget which I have seen there is a bullock cart. And the school room is the thatch roof shed. On the wall itself, a whitewash wall, on that you have a black paint. On that the teacher used to write with chalk. Compare the modern school rooms. Now there are some schools even with the AC room, AC setup, and with all the video projection and internet connection and all those things. So that's a kind of gap in 50 years what has come. Again, you look at the transportation. I have been here in Bombay for about a year in 1966-67 period. From Trivandrum to this place, it has taken solid 3 days traveling in a steam engine locomotive. I don't know how many of you have seen this steam engine. It's all museum pieces today. And compared to that, yesterday's my journey from Trivandrum to this place hardly 2 hours. So you can see the mobility, how it has come. Of course, I don't have to mention about the internet. Yes, it is a superb achievement, and perhaps that's the one which has changed the whole world. The information is available at a fingertip. But what do you do with this information? Whether you use it for good or bad, that is the real choice, and is really going to make all the difference. In fact, there are people who have come out saying that it does more damage than good for the society. Perhaps it may be correct. One has to be very careful about the social media is there, and also the reactions what we have on this. An impulsive reaction on a social media event can be totally destructive. So one has to be careful with that. So this I have just cited the technology growth over these years, and perhaps humankind can be very proud that we are the only species on the earth who could achieve such a thing. Let's look back in history. The first invention of fire, it has changed the way things happen in the world. That would have happened maybe in 70,000 years back or so. But later, a single event which has changed the world is the wheel, by which the mobility is brought into the system. The same wheel rides in the railways or in the jet engines and rocket engines and so on. Then the revolution has set in with the advent of the semiconductor, the computers, and associated communication technology, and so on. But behind all this is the basic phenomena of observing the nature, learning from the nature, deciphering the natural laws, whether it is in physics, chemistry or biology, and then translating that knowledge into action, that is a products or service which will serve the society. All the technologies have worked day and night to see that how this technical know-how is used for enriching the quality of life of people and making life easier, and jobs, what they are doing is much more facile, and they will have a lot of leisure time. The leisure time in an advanced society, it will be used for more creativity and creation of more wealth. This type of exponential reaction, that is what takes the world forward. In fact, the type of the system what we put in place today, after 1 or 1.5 years, it becomes totally defunct, the obsolete, mainly because of this transition which is taking place. It is just not applicable, not only in the science and technology field, it affects every walk of life. At one time we were happy with the internet giving about 128 kilobits per second or so on. But you want gigabits per second today because the demand has gone up. Now how do you absorb this into the society, and how do you absorb into the industry, and how you implement this is really going to be the challenge for the future. Now I would fail my duty if I don't touch upon where India is with respect to this. Yes, we are all happy that we could travel to moon. We had a good pictures of that. I was sharing my thoughts yesterday. Moon, it looks so beautiful from the ground. But when we went near that and took a close pictures, it's horrible. It's not a smooth surface. It is full of pock marks, deep craters, and huge mountains rising over a short distance and so on. It is, summarized in one word, it's ugly. And one of the poets in Kerala, he has come out and saying that, I won't call my sweetheart anymore the moon-faced. So that's the kind of thing. But the technology, we have harnessed. We have the huge rockets. We have got the capability to build the satellites. And travel is 400,000 kilometers in about 5 days' time, and be there and go around the moon in a very precise orbit as what we do on Earth, and take these pictures and so on. In the last mission, yes, we had a small mishap. We wanted to see that it's not only take pictures from a distance. No, we could, the last mission, it was around 200 kilometers above, we could get the pictures. And it was improved to 100 kilometers this time. So we get a better resolution pictures. And perhaps that's going to be the most advanced mapping of the moon. That task is continuing. But the process of landing on the surface of the moon, it got into trouble. Some of you would have watched on the TV. In the last minute, something wrong with the system, and the entire module tumbled and fell on the sea. It was almost like at 100 kilometers per hour. Suppose a vehicle goes and hits a lamppost, what happens you can imagine. A similar phenomena took place. So that lander part and the rover part, we had a failure. But of course ISRO is determined to solve that and come back with a success maybe before the end of this year itself. So the technology growth in the space is remarkable. Now let us look at what happened in the missile regime. We started these missiles in India by Tipu Sultan way back in 1782. He made a small rocket using gunpowder and used as a weapon against the British regime at those days. Of course, he lost the war, and all the technicians and the hardware, everything was confiscated by the British, and maybe 1 or 2 samples are there in the British Museum, that's it. But afterward there was a huge lull period. With the advent of the space program and development of SLV-3, India's first satellite launch vehicle, of course that program was headed by none other than our late Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and that brought in the technology of huge rockets in the country. That was in the 1980, we had the capability to build rockets. Of course, it didn't stop there. Dr. Kalam had a dream. He wanted to give a weapon delivery system to the country, and the missile program was conceived. And today, the Agni missile with about 5,000 kilometers range is a product of that. Look at the atomic energy program. Dr. Bhabha in the late 40s and early 50s, he has thought that we should invest in the field of atomic physics, atomic research and so on. The net result was we are able to decipher the technology for cracking the atom and releasing the energy, and that energy initially was used for peaceful purposes, for like power generation or maybe for medical application and so on. But later when the need came, we didn't hesitate. It is all put together in the form of an atomic bomb. We have that capability as well. Look at the agriculture. We were importing nearly 60% of the grains in the 60s. Then there was a big revolution brought in by a team under Dr. Swaminathan. That really changed the entire nature of the agriculture, and the productivity was increased manifold. And today we are not only self-sufficient, we can export food grains. That's the kind of growth we have achieved in that. So these examples I cited to say that wherever we have set our goals clearly and really focused efforts are brought in, we were able to succeed. There is nowhere we have fallen back. And we have shown to the world that Indian brains and hands are as good or even better than anything available globally. So that is the type of the talents which is available in the country. But still the question arises, why we are not able to be catching up with the advanced countries? Yes, in some of these niche areas like atomic energy or in the defense sector or in the space sector, we were able to do that. But it's all because of visionary leaders like I mentioned Dr. Homi Bhabha, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, then Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and so on. So this chain of leaders who have really motivated the youth in the country and made them perform. But now today, that is totally forgotten. I don't know how much time more I can have. Sorry. Okay, now I will be failing my duty if I don't mention about our ancient civilization in the Vedic time, what was existing in our country. We had a great civilization, perhaps the topmost in terms of knowledge, culture and technology in the world at that time. And the Vedic texts, they clearly bring out the knowledge which was contained at the time. And there, if you look from the scientific point of view, the type of achievements we had is perhaps the best in the globe. The agricultural practices, the collective living, the type of town planning, all these things excelled. Again, for the first time, the metal has been separated from the ore in our continent. We were first to make this tin and copper, and from there the bronze utensils and so on. And later, of course, the iron was about 1500 BC. It was separated here in India. From here, the technology went to Europe, mainly Greece and Turkey and other such places, Middle East. And that technology was absorbed by them maybe at the beginning of this Christian era. But India, what happened, of course, I fail if I don't mention about Ayurveda. The best medicinal system which was existing in the world at the time, and they even went to the extent of practicing surgery. Almost equivalent to the plastic surgery was conducted those days. There are records for that. But then, for some reason or other, it all went to a dark era after about 600 AD. Around that time is what foreign invasions took place by Alexander, Mughals, and then later the Europeans and so on. And virtually India was under slavery. Under that slavery, nothing flourished. No free thinking, no innovation, and we fell back in the old development process. This continued all the way up to independence. After independence only we woke up, we set up the best institutions for education, research and all those things. And with that, even though there was a huge lag, we have caught up. Now look at what happens in the Western world. They were also in fact, they didn't have much of these technologies to start with. But their efforts about 300 years back, starting with Galileo and others, that has changed the whole world. The difference was, in our Indian system, this Vedic texts and all, if you look at it, there are statements of facts. Whatever is observed by the rishis in those days, it is translated into Sanskrit words, and then it was passed from generation to generation by word of mouth. And there was practically there's no proof. If you talk about this Pushpak Vimana or some other things like missile, multiple targeted missile technology, equivalent of that, arrows which can split and target many enemies and so on. They're all statements, and perhaps one will wonder whether it is a figure of imagination or whether it really existed those days. And we don't have proof. And the science and technology will not accept anything without proof. But whereas the European culture, they started looking at proofs. For that you need instruments, the telescope, the microscope, then various test instruments which came out. All this contributed to enhancing the scientific knowledge, and that's how it grew. There are few people who struck the gold mine by having their out-of-the-box thinking, and that has brought in electricity, it has brought in the knowledge about the universe, that we are not at the center of the universe, it is much wider, and so on. But the same, more or less, some principles of this is there in our ancient texts. But we have not pursued it. We didn't have that mentality to do the experiment and then demonstrate that this is so. So that is the difference between the technology which generated in the Europe and with the Western world and in India. Now today, if you look at it, the leading countries like US, Europe and Japan, they are masters only because of their technological capability and technical excellence. Whereas in India, we are still struggling. Except for these pockets of excellence which you see, all other fields, we are not able to do the original contribution in any area. This is really pathetic. There only the responsibility of the society and the government comes in. Yes, all these technological innovations are meant for the society. We are able to change the way we live and the way we work and so on. So if we want to really contribute and make India great, we should be able to invest in research and development in a big way. Of course, the funding pattern, if you look at it, USA, maybe around 50 to 60% funding comes from the government, one through their science council, and balance coming from the defense research projects. They get very sophisticated weapon system which is being developed, and that technology is parted off for civilian use and so on. But here in India, entire research is supported by the government only. That too in a very minuscule way. The advanced countries, they spend about 3 to 5% of the GDP on development. Whereas in India, it is hardly about 0.8%. There is a very small amount which you are sparing for the research. And there was a suggestion that these industries here in the big industrial houses should contribute to the research. You look at some of the US universities and all, almost all the research projects are funded by industries. The industry will see that they invest in research and they reap the benefit out of the results which comes out of the researchers and the type of work being carried out in the industry. They invest in 100 or 200 projects at a time, maybe 1 or 2 will fructify. But that is more than sufficient to pay for the entire expenses what are made here. This kind of culture is not existing in our country. This is going to hurt us. We can all boast that we are going to have the largest youth population in India and so on. But what do we do with them? They need employment. If you want employment, you need proper training. In the training area, we are doing miserably in the area of human resource development. You take the school education, it has become simply a memory test, and nobody gets into the details or fundamentals of subject. If you want to have a good knowledge, basically one should get a strong foundation in mathematics, physics, chemistry and physics. What I am saying is, today you take anything, there is something which has to be copied from the nature. And there is a lot of similarity with what we see around. Earlier I mentioned about a drone and other things. It is nothing but what happens in our human system. You have the eyes which detects the stereo image, sends to the brain, and that being processed, and that gives a command and so on. But that is implemented through a set of computers, etc. So the human behavior is copied to some extent such a system. Similarly, when you talk about the robotics, you need the same thing. See, we have robots which just automatically does everything, and in a factory, suppose a component comes and there is a few millimeter mismatch between what is programmed and is there, the whole robot goes mad. So we have to think of how the intelligence of the robot can be improved, how you can bring in dexterity to the hand or the other devices which are used, how it can softly capture and then position a job and so on. There again, see what best you can think of other than the human finger, how it works, the type of muscles what you have got here, how you can emulate, the nervous system, how it can be emulated, how the signal transmission can be emulated. So a lot of things one has to see from this kind of thing and see how best it can be translated into products which will serve the society. So this being the scenario, we have to see that our investment in the science education and creating a scientific temper. The scientific temper, I will say that is nothing but observing nature and the phenomena around, and then trying to learn from that, and then trying to hypothesize and use those principles for developing products or services which will serve the people. In our country, especially this is the need of the hour, about 70% of our people are living in rural environment, and their needs are quite different from what you see in the urban environment. There is no industry or any research house is concentrating on this. If you have to bring in the economic development of the villages have to be equipped to use the modern technology for solving their problem. The first thing needed is the educational research institutions should go deep into the villages and understand what they need, and then target your research towards that. The research institutions are better equipped, they have the knowledge from here and also from the outside world at their fingertip, but how to modify or shape it for the needs of the society is what needs to be seen. Here, most of the multinational companies are coming and dumping things. Why? Because the market is so huge. I was told in Kerala alone, the number of Mercedes cars sold is larger than what they sell in Europe. So that's the kind of market potential which exists here. So the Indian industry should come forward. For that, the basic education, training, and then the mentality to take risk and do research and advanced work. So that has to come in our system. So this is a Herculean task. An individual or an institution cannot change it. But somewhere it has to get started with. So skilling the youth so that they don't waste. I would like to mention one more point. Most of the youth are denied proper training. After +2, hardly 20 or 30% can go to higher education, either to college or polytechnic and so on. Remaining people, what they do? They are helpless. They don't know even how to read a text, understand, or write a note, or operate a simple machine, and so on. So their skill development is not concentrated. So we have to see that even the people who are coming out of the school level are enabled to carry out a task by themselves and contribute to the economic growth of the country. So such even many of the social scientists here should address this issue. How we can bring in this transformation, how we can enable our youth to be productive, how it can contribute to the national economy. But that solution will come by marriage of the management schools or the research organization and the modern technology which exists here. So in the country, the thrust in the technology development has to go manifold It is just not only 4 or 5 niche areas, but every field of technology, we must invest in R&D, and we should leapfrog to achieve global standards and catch up with the global economy. If we have a good idea and a good product, it is just not only, India is not only the market, you will be able to reach out globally because of the modern means of communication which is available to all of us. So perhaps a new India, we look forward to the bright youth of this generation taking up such challenges, thinking out of the box and acting with courage and without fear to achieve their goals. I wish great success for this organization's venture and hope it will contribute and shape the youngsters to face the challenges of the future. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words of wisdom and insight. We are sure that the audience has been enlightened and will be encouraged to innovate and push their limit. I would now like to request our Pro Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sharad Maiskar, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to you all once again. Chief guest for today's function, Padma Vibhushan Madhavan Nair, former Chairman ISRO, Honorable Vice Chancellor NMIMS Dr. Rajan Saxena, trustees from SVKM and senior functionaries, Dr. Ramesh Bhatt, Provost Management Education and Dean SBM, Dr. Ray, PVC NMIMS, Professor Jayashankaran, Professor Emeritus, Advisor and Mentor to Bangalore campus, Deans, Principals, faculty colleagues, and my dear student friends. At this stage, I would also acknowledge the presence of our campus directors and faculty from off campuses who have joined us through the webcast. All of us acknowledge that the university is established with the sole task of creating and disseminating knowledge in different domains and enriching the lives of citizens, especially the youth, which form the future of the country. NMIMS, which is in teens and entering into adolescence, exemplifies this adage and going global in the next decade. I wish to thank Dr. Nair for accepting our invitation and gracing our function. His thoughts on growth of technology and its intrusion in our lives and the way forward in ensuring that technology is used for good and creativity will leave an indelible mark on the faculty and student minds. Thank you, sir. I also wish to thank Honorable Chancellor NMIMS and President SVKM, Shri Amrishbhai Patel, for his continuous motivation and support in the development of this university. I wish to acknowledge the efforts of Dr. Meena Chintamaneni and her team for the meticulous planning and organization of this event, as well as other events of NMIMS on a regular basis. I also wish to acknowledge and recognize the enthusiasm of our faculty and students in making this event a success, and a special word of appreciation for the awardees. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Before we disperse for the day, I request everyone to please rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता
This brings us to the end of this program. We have achieved many milestones in our journey so far and aspire to achieve even more in the coming future and make the star of NMIMS shine even brighter. I would now request all the guests, deans and directors to proceed to the executive dining area. I request all the faculty members and the staff to proceed to the staff dining area. I request the students to please exit from the back door, and I request the NUSC members to please facilitate the process. Thank you so much.